Hello chess players, welcome again to the Chess Corner. I'm your coach, Mr. Robert. Today we're going to look at a game from ancient history, over 150 years ago, but it still has lessons for us today. White is played by the American champion Paul Morphy, and black was the Duke of Brunswick, a nobleman from London that Morphy met when he was touring Europe. The game opens with king pawn moving to e4 and black responding similarly. White attacks black's pawn with his knight on f3, and black responds by defending his pawn with a pawn at d6. White challenges the pawn again by moving his queen pawn to d4. And black replies by attempting to pin the white bishop against the queen and take some of the pressure off the king pawn on e5. White still captures. Black takes the knight with his bishop, attacking the queen, and the queen recaptures. That allows black to recapture his pawn because it's no longer defended by the knight that used to be on f3. White now brings his bishop to c4, bearing down on the f7 square with both the queen and the bishop. Queen takes at f7 is a standard checkmate called the scholar's mate. Black's aware of that and defends by blocking the queen's path with the knight. White keeps up the pressure on f7 by backing up the bishop with his queen. And black must attend to that, defending by bringing the queen to e7, defending the f7 square. White now brings his knight to protect his pawn, which is attacked by black's knight. Black starts a pawn advance against white's bishop on c4. White uses that extra tempo to develop yet another bishop, this one pinning the black knight against the black queen. Black challenges the bishop with a pawn on b5. White sacrifices his knight to remove these two pawns, recapturing with the bishop and giving a check to the king. At this point, there's very little defense for the king here, who hasn't castled, and white will take advantage of that. Black must attend to the check of the king, and he does by interposing his knight. White increases the pressure by castling on the queen side, and the rook is attacking the knight as well as the bishop. Black defends by bringing his rook. White exchanges rook for knight and brings his second rook to bear on the pinned rook. Notice that the black rook is pinned against the black king. In order to free up this knight to protect the rook, black moves the queen up to e6. And now this knight is no longer pinned. White captures the bishop, captures the rook. Black recaptures, and we're set now for a spectacular queen sacrifice. Queen to b8 check. The king can't move because white's bishop is commanding e7. The queen, of course, commands d8. Nobody can capture the queen. Nobody can interpose. The only answer is for the knight to capture the queen. All that white has left are a bishop and a rook. The other pieces have been sacrificed along the way. But that's all white needs to checkmate. Rook to d8, protected by the bishop. The rook commanding d7 and e8. The bishop preventing the king from fleeing to e7. Checkmate. Brilliant game by one of the best players of all time, Paul Morphy. Always good to see you here at the Chess Corner. Keep practicing.